Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Blank Canvas Show. I go by Cash. We got my man Prez, we got Ty, we have Ruben, we have an established panel of people from all different areas of the states and just kind of music lovers and just fans of the culture. You know what I mean? Every time, even though I rap and I produce and I do other things on the side, I still feel like I have to be a fan. I have to be a fan first, you know what I mean, and enjoy the music. I don't have as much time to enjoy the music, but I do want to highlight some of the dope albums and just have, good, honest conversations about albums. And I want to be put on in real time by some of the folks that you have on this panel, whether good, bad, or indifferent. I'd love to discuss music. So that's why I have this esteemed panel, and we brought these talking heads together. We're going to try to do this thing reoccurring every month. You may see some of the same faces, you may see different faces, but we definitely want to come month to month and just highlight some artists that are doing their thing, whether they're indie or mainstream. So that's what this episode is going to be about. So first off, we're going to kind of get into our top five in terms of this mid-year review. We've had a lot. We've had one of the best battles occur, whether your team Drake, team Kendrick. It's been a lot going on. We got Diddy's situation. We may not get into that today. You know what I'm saying? Our fallen, quote unquote, heroes and so to speak, man. So it's a whole lot of things been going on, and the year started off, pretty fast. And 21 Savage, a few other people have been dropping. La Russell's been dropping kind of crazy. So it's a lot of music, you know what I mean? But who wants to start it off in terms of just picking their five? Whatever, if you have it numbered, whoever you want to go for.
Well, hold up. Why we ain't hitting on the Diddy topic?
We
Hitting
gonna get
on
to it.
everybody else. Like
We
I
get
don't give, I
crazy.
don't give a damn, man. We can touch on that topic.
We can get to it. We can get to it later on. We can get to it later on. We definitely can. But let's put that his bullshit on the back burner for now and celebrate some of the dope artists, man. So, Prez, it seems like you eager to talk, man. So, who do you have at your, one of your five artists that you've definitely been tapping into as far as their album or EP?
So are we starting the list? That what you're saying?
Yeah,
You
we
want me to go
start. We getting
first?
right to it, man. We don't like to
Okay.
waste
I
people
break the
time. We
ice.
know what they're here
Oh
for.
yeah, we ain't gonna waste nobody time over here. So hey, if you haven't heard of me, Prez, I'm back for this episode at least. Come in, dip in once, twice a year with Cash. We used to do Don't Sleep on the Couch podcast, but if you remember any of my takes, I'm gonna keep it real with you. So at number 5 for the albums of the year that I got Eric the Architect. I've never been here before. It's like 16 tracks. Um, Initial track I would say the standout track on this whole album is called Instincts. It's featuring West Side Boogie. Then I was send you over to Parkour. It has like a little screwed up and chopped up type hook to it. He got very diverse styles throughout this album, very laid back kind of feel though. But Jammy Jam, you got Shook Up featuring Joey Badass and Ezekiel's Wheel. And if you don't know about Eric the Architect, part of Flatbush Zombies, he was part of what was that Beast Coast when they had that big super group over there. So one of the true lyricists out of that little group. So, but I keep in contact with him whenever he do drop. Everything he do ain't 100%. He try to take the artistic route sometimes, but this one very solid. I would definitely recommend it. Have y'all heard anything on this album?
The single, yeah, the one with
Uh,
George Clinton. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I heard the song with West Side Boogie.
Yeah, I heard
that one-
the West Side Boogie and
that's
the
the best one.
Parkour joint, and I haven't heard anything else from him. So this was something that you held in the tuck. We talk almost every day, so the fact that you've been hiding this from me, and it's a solid project. You know what I'm saying? I listened to maybe like 5 joints, and I was like on random just to kind of get a feel for who he is, and it sounded dope so far. So I'm definitely gonna get into that. So Ruben, who you have at 5, man?
All right, I didn't put mine in order, but the first one I'm going to mention is Slum Village, their Project Fun. I think it dropped like the early part of this month,
Yep.
and so for me, for them to always just be able to come back and they just have these really good projects. And it's good. So I would say what really stood out for me was the live band that they used. And so for me, just really loving the live instruments, I just feel like it always just gives it a little bit more like oomph. So like for me, I think that's what makes a lot of the the music from like the 90s and the 2000s that has a lot of that replay value is like it's not just beating on the on the drum machine, right? But they got someone actually in there playing the bass or doing a horn or doing some keys. So for me, I really liked that project. It's kind of feature heavy, but it's all it's mostly artists who they've already worked with. So I think the only new ones is like Corday is on there. Larry June, of course, did a really good single with them that actually dropped last year, but it's part of this year's album. So Slum Village, fun. It's probably my maybe two or three, but I didn't really have time to rank all five. I got a running list, there's about 60 of them, so
Yeah.
that's some
I
of the
feel that.
top 10.
Yeah, and as you was talking about the live instrumentation, it's one person that probably, if I had more time with the project, if it just didn't come out, he probably would end up in some list, was Odyssey. He's not on my list, but just the live instrumentation, I immediately went to him. And I'm not sure if y'all have ever been to any of his live shows, but it's like probably one of the best performers I've seen live in probably the last 10 years or so, in terms of just control of the crowd, the live band. Like it's an amazing watch if he's ever in your city. So Odyssey kind of comes to mind. But as for me, man, at number five, not number five, I have five people or whatever. So I'll start with one of the women that, like she said, if I'm a curse. If she had a dick, she'd probably be in everybody's top five. Rhapsody. You know what I'm saying? So that album to me is phenomenal. I was just listening to it earlier, you know what I mean, just to kind of make sure this belongs, and it absolutely does, man. Like just the range of topics she talks about, from the dementia of her grandmother, which I can resonate with, which is, one of the things that is not a requirement of people that I listen to in terms of them being personable, but it's one of the things that sets you apart when you can resonate with it. When you cut out all the guns, the drugs, the thug shit, and you just get to the core, the essence of who somebody is. I think Rhapsody embodies that. Asteroids, that one time. Nobody has asked her a question on all her media runs about that one time, but I don't know if y'all know what she's talking about in that song, about that one time she slept with a woman and that woman broke her heart. So it was like, addressing those rumors head on for her was really dope to me. And then of course, the joint Raw with Little Wayne and Nico Brim was fired to me, and I wish Wayne rapped like that more often. I don't know who's on his team right now, but man, he has flashes to where I still believe, and then a project drops and I get angry again. But that's neither here nor there. And last but not least, Erica Badu on 3 a.m. They both bodied that track, so that's firmly in my rotation. Thus far throughout the year. So, but with that said, man, Ty, over to you.
First, I just want to say I love how there are men that are speaking up for Rhapsody and they can appreciate her contribution. So I always love to see men giving her flowers, or those type of artists, their recognition. I'm gonna go with Buddy, Free My Mind, or excuse me, Don't Forget to Breathe. That's the name of the album, Buddy's album. And to me, it felt like a personal reminder, because that's something I've been working on, breathing, my breath work. And we're like always on the go and things like that. And just simply just sitting there remembering to breathe is like, that can change your whole, trajectory. So I'm going to go with Buddy for me. And it's a little bit of everything on there. Like, I think the album kind of like shows his personality. It's like a little bit of boom bap rap. There's some alternative upbeat. There's some West Coast, and it's a little gospel, a little gangster. Like, it's a little bit of everything. And again, I just appreciate the reminder to breathe. And like, we're talking about other things other than the BS and rap, like breathe and things we can relate to, the vulnerability. So I'm gonna go with Buddy. I'm not trying to be biased, so I'm
No,
gonna go
that's
with
cool.
Buddy. Don't forget to breathe.
That's cool. And speaking of bias, again, Prez is from Alabama. I'm from New York City. Ty's in LA. Ruben's in Sacramento. So, you got a wide range of taste, you know what I mean, out here. But, you spoke to some in terms of just his album being a gumbo. Like, do y'all like albums? Like, are your favorite type of albums like like a gumbo mix, so to speak, in terms of just has a little bit of everything, or is it, more so the concept things that grab your attention?
I think it's a little bit of both for me too. Like sometimes I do want a certain theme or concept, and then sometimes I don't know what I want. Just give it to me. So I appreciate the artist that's just, giving it and serving it up.
For sure, for sure. Hey, Prez, I think you on mute, bro. We can hear
It's a
you.
little low.
Yeah, it's a little low. It's something like your
Really
sound
low.
went out. It's cool. Keep working it, man. We'll keep pressing along. We'll keep pressing along. Yeah, it's funny that you say that, Ty, because I forgot what we had an episode a while ago, and then I was just me and Prez were talking, and I was like, you know what, as fans, we really truly don't know what the hell we want until we hear it. You know what I mean? So, you may have your preferences and your biases, but like somebody could come in and totally change how music is being heard, you know what I mean? Or just kind of just a concept to where you're like, all right, cool, I kind of rock with this, you know what I mean? So, Prez, are you good, man? Does it
Can you hear me
sound
now?
good?
That
Yes,
better?
you're back, man. You're back. So,
Yeah. I was saying, yeah, it's just like some of these restaurants, you know which ones you can go to, and just like can't order no gumbo, but you can order the gumbo at certain little restaurants. It's got the right mix of flavors, and that's kind of how these are. So yeah, you can have like the mix, but it got to work. It still got to have all that. It got to jam. Just because you're doing a mix just to do a mix, I ain't gonna say I just broadly like that type of music or that type of album. You got to have it. It's got to go right. You know what I mean? So uh, I get your analogy, but I'm saying like that'll be the best little point I can make across. And Cash, man, are you coming with the women again, man? You had Lotto last year, and then you got
yo,
this
come
one
on,
now.
man, stop
You
it,
got
stop
glow. You got glow on here too.
it. Stop it. See, you trying to put smut on my name. I did not have Lotto on my list at all. You know what I mean? I enjoyed one of the songs. I was trying to be vulnerable, trying to just say, yo, man, I like this. I can't front. And now,
Exactly.
now he's running with it. Now he's running with the Lotto selection, which is pure bullshit,
No,
man. Back,
Lotto
Nah,
is
Rhapsody though was dope though. The Rhapsody
Lotto
was
can
dope.
rap. She can really rap. What she chooses
Lotto
to
is
rap
Yeah.
on is not always my cup of tea, and that's my only problem with her. You know what I mean? If she made an album where she was just really, kind of be doing
awesome.
something like Rhapsody, not quite Rhapsody thing, but just being vulnerable in her own way and being lyrical, I think, it'll bode well for her. But nevertheless, she's still
The only
successful. Huh?
The only problem I had with the Rhapsody album was the mood and stuff. Like when you got to go ahead and tell a story, some of those songs ain't repeatable. It's great to hear once in a while and you listen through. But if I ain't going through it, it don't resonate with me, so I ain't gonna listen at that song. It was the same problem that Kendrick had on a lot of the Mr. Morale and Big Steppers. I was like, I ain't about to listen to somebody have an argument. I have an argument of my own sometimes, bro. I don't need to hear that shit on the album.
It could be triggering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Some of it is heavy, but I mean, that's their artistry. They got to get through it,
Yeah.
and if you that courageous to take that chance on your career on the drop for it to not be well received, and because people are not going to resonate, and it is what it is. I take it for what it
Yeah.
is. I could listen to it in doses, but not a lot. So I understand where you're coming from, Prez.
You
I
still
I
understand
go
where
to
you.
the Forrest Gump on the Forrest Gump when
Nah,
he came out on his song. I mean
nah,
that same little thing. That same little thing that it
absolutely,
goes down. Like
absolutely not.
yeah, like it makes a statement and it's over with. That's kind of how I kind of feel about it. But yeah, that'd be my only drawback with the album. The rest of the songs are dope. Her opening, with her saying the real name and coming in, that part was like extremely dope. The first like 2 or 3 songs on there. Then when it come to that, like I said, it kind of I was like, yeah, okay, got it, understand it. And then she came back at the end of the album, to finish off her lyrical with what everybody else come here for. So yeah,
Yeah.
she mixed
Also,
it up in there. She mixed it at the right part. It was in the middle of the album.
right, and keeping it with the
I just
theme.
wanted to
Go
add
ahead.
something. I was just gonna say I appreciate artists that can, like we're saying, mix it up or give us different things to tune into. There's times I do want to hear life rap, real rap, and those type of things. And then there's times where I need to hear that turn up stuff. So I'm just glad that there is options and a range, and there is artists like you're saying they're comfortable with sharing some of these things, these topics, these conversations. And although sometimes we don't want to hear it, there's someone out there that can resonate with it, and it might be saving their lives. So I just appreciate that there is some artists, they're not boxed in just the party music, the turn up music, the trap music. Like, we're human beings, so let's show that in the music.
Absolutely,
Got it.
absolutely.
You
And
don't
then
like
one
Pusha T. You don't want the cocaine raps.
we do. Oh,
I do sometimes.
oh, okay, okay.
I
No, I'm
know
saying
when
he one of the artists that stick in that box and he ain't coming outside of it, but he
right, and
kills it
when I
every
want to hear
time.
that, that's what I'm gonna turn on. But yeah, I
Right.
appreciate that. I got options. There's options, a lot of options these days.
Some say might be too many, at times. You know what I mean? Uh, then the last thing I wanted to speak to, which the album Ruben mentioned with Slum Village, is Brittany Carter set that thing off, man. Like she's fire, man. I definitely want to hear more from her. She dropped a couple years ago, but kind of has. I don't know if she's put anything out, but for her to pop up on the Slum Village album is huge. So shout out to her. I still got to get through that album, but I know I got through the first few, and then kind of trailed off. No, not to say I didn't enjoy the album. It's just, got a lot of things going on. So, Prez, back to you, man. What's your next project you want to mention?
My next project is gonna be the most talked about album of the year so far. No, I'm not talking about Rock Marciano. Sorry, hip hop
Oh,
Twitter.
here he
We
go.
talking about
Here he go.
we talking about the future of Metro Boomin. So yeah, we don't trust you, and I made that into a 2.0 because they dropped the two albums. I just combined them. I got the best songs on there. So if you ever making a playlist and you want to copy my 2.0, I'm about to run down the songs, 17 tracks is what I got it down to, and then I speak on them. We don't trust you, Young Metro, type shit like that, featuring K.R.I.T. Then you got Slimed In, Cinderella, Run Out of Time, Fried, She a Vibe, Everyday Hustle, which I think is the best out of song on both of those albums. I really like that one. I think that kind of highlighted what I think Future and Metro were trying to do was like, hey, we can grab this back and we don't need, like, we created the sound and we can show off these different areas where y'all been running the Drake for the feature. We can start featuring with each other and kind of grab our music. I think that's what they was going for, and I think this one highlighted it the best. So Everyday Hustle. Seen It All, Quiet Storm, that beat flip on there, like that. What the fuck you mean? We Still Don't Trust You, featuring The Weeknd, Out of Hands, All to Myself, The Weeknd, Shooters making TikToks, bro. Yeah, that's that. One Big Family, Red Letter, which gave Cole a chance to address after he had apologized and all this stuff. So had him back on there, and I felt like he came back and killed that verse while still like he redeemed himself while still acknowledging that he all bark.
Pretty much.
That's
Pretty
kind of
much.
how you think he's had on there. Then you had Short Hands featuring ASAP Rocky, where he called him Telegram Graham, which I felt like was just saying that all he do is he don't write none of his stuff. He just recite it. He just read back what was on the paper, bro. And then Streets Made Me King.
All right. All right. Yo, that's one of my fair pick, but that's one of my joints where I just probably on the weekend, you know what I mean, or when I'm in a good mood and shit like that, or I'm have to hit the bar. But other than that, I don't think I revisited as much, and I think it was so much music in such a short timeline.
It
You know
was
what I
too
mean?
much.
And I didn't really get to. It was a daunting task just to listen to it. You know what I'm saying? But I know I personally prefer R&B Future. You know what I'm saying? Not the rapidy rap Future. Or him even remotely trying to rap. I like the vibe he catches and that's it. But it was just too much, so I couldn't really dive into the project. So send me the 2.0, the condensed version, man, so I could just tap into that. So shoot, who's next, Ruben or Ty?
I would just like to say I love how he flipped Rodney O and Joe Cooley. Like the original song still give me hype. I'll be wishing I was alive and out when that dropped like in the streets. I know the streets is going crazy when that hit. So I
Yeah.
appreciated him bringing that song and life and legacy back to life. So I can say that, and I'm again trying not to show my West Coast bias, but yes, shout out to him for going back and pulling a sample that we don't really hear getting played with, or he made it his own. So I will say that. But like you said, it was a lot of music. I was overstimulated. And I was just like, I tried to listen, and it was just a lot going on at that time. And I really be outside too. So sometimes I have to go take time to go listen to stuff. But I tried my best to listen. and it was a lot. I was a little overstimulated, but I do appreciate how he, as a producer, is stepping up. We're seeing these producers do what the rappers wish they could do. So I do support that, and I hope to see more creativity. And I mean, I love, seeing him and Future link up, but I want to see something else that we ain't seen too, like someone
Man.
else that we ain't seen them collab with.
Right. And the
I
thing.
don't know if anybody. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say
I
the
don't know if
thing
anybody gonna
about.
have this on their
Go
list.
ahead.
Then I thought you said go ahead.
Go
Hey,
ahead.
hey, I don't know if anybody gonna have this on their list, but when we talk about a ton of music came out in that little March time frame, I felt like it was that kind of messed up Glow rollout when we talk about another woman rapper. You know what I mean? Like when her rollout, it kind of got mixed all up in there, and I don't think it got the proper listens that it should have got, because we was too much into the beef at that point. We was ready for like, hey, and they was dropping every damn day. It seemed like, man, we couldn't breathe over here trying to keep up with that damn battle.
Hell yeah, up at 2 a.m. and shit, trying to be. You heard the new Drake? God damn it, man! Gotta go to work in the morning. But yeah,
For real,
man.
it was intense those couple of days.
Absolutely. So, who's next in terms of just a project y'all been rocking with?
We ain't heard from Ruben. What's up, player?
Oh, me? Okay. So I did not even listen to the Metro albums, either of them. I mean, of course, the Kendrick song, the one that had Cole on it as well before he, recanted his statements. But I did. I mean, I don't know. I'm younger, than Prez and Cash, but for me, like I don't know. I don't think Future makes music for me. So I just, um, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't,
It's okay.
I don't do a lot of, that kind of stuff. But I mean, people love it, so it's, I just don't listen to it, especially not 2 albums worth in like 10 days.
Yeah, it's 44 something joints.
But my pick, and I don't think it's gonna come up, but I'll share it now just in case. Vince Staples, Dark Times. So for me, I think Vince Staples is the artist that a lot of people think J. Cole and Kendrick are. And I'll say that because I feel like they think Kendrick gives us Compton. I mean, he did on Good Kid, Mad City, but these last 3 albums, he's given us his world, right? Which isn't necessarily based in Compton, isn't necessarily the commentary like at that neighborhood level. I feel like Vince is still neighborhood Vince. Like Vince is still Northside Long Beach, right? His sound, and he's really grown up with his music, right? So I think he's a combination of what I feel like people think Kendrick and Cole embody. I think he embodies it better than both of them. He's been showing that range, that growth through his music, right? So his first few albums being a bit more upbeat, or his first, say three or four, the major ones. So Big Fish is like some Chicago house or Detroit house type of music, and like whereas now he's like, hey, I'm 34 years old, like like I don't be outside like that, but I do kind of. So for me, I just love hearing the growth and the range through his music. And he really ended the project on a really high note with one of the standout tracks, Free Man. So Vince has been signed to Def Jam since I think he was like 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
So he's been with them for 13 or 14 years. Now for the first time, he's finally going to go out. Hopefully he doesn't, sign to another major. I don't think he really needs a major. You know what I mean?
Now we're having a show and everything popping for him now. Like he's kind of on an upward trajectory to really do his own thing based on his own merit at this point, which you would hope most artists eventually get to.
He's definitely become a household name, and then not trying to compare people, but it's reminding me of kind of like what we've seen Odd Future doing. They're, they ventured out, they got television shows, movies, branded. So I appreciate him staying true to his roots and showing, what his reality is, or, his life, his perspective. But I appreciate that. Like, I think we should see more artists transition into this. I don't want to say, because back in the day, we had Will Smith on our TV, we had Queen Latifah on our TV, we had a lot of the rappers kind of going back and forth, LL Cool J. So I appreciate him doing this for the new generation, and I'm just inspired. Like, what I need to work harder. I need to be doing something else. Like, anything is possible, but again, he's being himself. He's not putting on dresses. He's not putting on makeup, lip gloss, and pearls. And even if you do, that's okay. But again, he's being himself. He's staying true to himself and bringing up others as well. So I appreciate that.
Saw a lot of faces, Prez. What you got to say, man? I saw a lot of you.
Oh, he on my list too.
Okay.
Actually, you know me. He made the number 2 spot on mine, so I just skipped that. But I'll tell you that was the number 2 spot on mine. I really like Vince Staples. Haven't liked his last couple of albums though, not at all. Every time he came out with one, I said I'll go back to Summertime '06. You know what I mean? I ain't mad at you. You gave me a classic in my eyes, so I can always go back to you. So when you drop some bullshit out there for everybody else, go ahead. Try to get more fans. I'm gonna go back to Summertime '06.
I gotta stop this book. The Ramona Park shit was fire. How was Ramona Park?
It was decent. It was decent.
Had a lot
this
of
is
joints
good.
on there.
This one is fire.
He basically took a shot at people like you on this current project on Etouffee. Yeah. When he talk about they still want the big fish sound.
He was talking dead at me.
Yeah, he was. He absolutely was.
Thank you for acknowledging me. Acknowledging and welcome back.
Yo, but I like pop events. Whatever he was trying to do on Ramona Park, which was a little bit more lighthearted, I enjoyed that side of him too. You know what I'm saying? Where it wasn't about the gang banging. I mean, he had a lot of dope songs on there because I can't relate. I can relate to what he's talking about from coming from a similar neighborhood, although it be in Brooklyn, New York. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I do want these guys to have fun in their music a little bit, you know what I'm saying, without straying too far away.
On this
album was a little darker.
He still managed to do it on this and still have a little bit up in there. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, like I felt like the I think you had talked about the Freeman track on here, where he was giving a little bit more introspective on his, him finding financial freedom, mental freedom, and artistic freedom, all in like those different verses. Like I felt like that was there. Like, and if you can give me that and still mix in some of these little stories and stuff, I ain't saying every story got to be game, but keep it realistic to I felt like he was reaching out too much, and I feel like sometimes some artists, they want to be artistic, they reach out. That's cool. They artists. I know they're gonna want to expand, but I ain't gotta like and love every damn thing, and I ain't crowning everything you put out a classic. I'm telling you right now, this brought me back to Vince because the other two just wasn't for me, and I think they understand that as they put it out. So, but thank you, Vince, for this album and coming back, making it back.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure you said that. That's all. That's the only reason I brought it up. I just want to make sure you publicly say that. Ty, it's on you for your next recommendation or whatever you were feeling.
So again, I'm not trying to be biased, but a project that stood out to me so far, and I'm not even sure if a lot of people heard of it, but a young lady she's from the Bay, Miss Jane Hancock. It was about I think it's a 4
Death Row
project.
Right?
EP. So yeah, she is with Death Row. But this project, I actually listened to it on Even Biz. So she goes back and forth, but she can definitely rap and she sings. And I just appreciate her representing for the women, real women, and just real women going through real things. And this project, she was talking her stuff. Like, she has a lot of features with a lot of legends and OGs. She's up under Snoop. She's under Raphael Sadiq. So she has a lot of smooth and soothe features. But on this project, she kind of was, I don't want to say giving city girls, but she mentioned, I do everything Carisha and JT do. So it's like, I appreciated to see that side of her, because to know her as an artist or just to be around her, she's very shy. She's very reserved. She's very quiet or, just very low key. So I love when an artist could turn it up or talk they mess or, show us that other side too. So if y'all have not heard of any of her music, I feel like as men, you guys could appreciate and consume her music as well. And yeah, I'm going to go with Miss Jane Hancock. That was one of my other features. And it's giving theme music, like, especially for women, like some stuff, like we said, it's not for everyone. And sometimes I want to hear something else. So I appreciate that I can turn this on and still feel sexy, sassy, empowered, and bossy and West Coast, but also it's still real music, real beats, real production. The quality is there. So again, I'm gonna go with Miss Jane Hancock for my pick with her project The Seed.
Right. And I'm always for the suggestions that have nothing to do with what I typically listen to because I got to ride with my wife every now and then. You know what I mean? And sometimes
She would love it.
she likes stuff that I totally don't rock with. You know what I'm saying? I'm not afraid to admit it. When the Cardi B album came out a couple years ago, y'all throw stones if you want to. She played it so much. I was like, all right, I'm kind of not mad at this. You know what I'm saying? This is okay.
She
You know what
start
I
rubbing
mean?
off.
Yeah, sometimes it's just like if the vibe is good, it's summertime, spring out, man. I don't want to
Yes,
hear as much
you can't
of a
deny it.
as much of a. And I love Ransom. You know what I mean? I may not want to hear Ransom in May, June, July, rapping the hardest, intricate bars. Sometimes I just, music is your mood, man. You know what I mean? You'll always go to your core, but I like to listen to different things and just kind of absorb it. You know what I'm saying? So I'll check out her latest project because
Yes,
I haven't heard
same
it.
with me. Like you just said, I'm around these gangster rappers, so it's like sometimes I need a break. I need a break from my thug life and the trap and all of that. I need to unplug, or I need something to mellow me out, or just kind of take me back, and then I get back to the trap and all that.
For sure. As for me, I had Vince.
Cash, you ain't gotta change. You ain't gotta change with the wife, man. Put on the future. Let it keep flowing. Say this how you met me.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I let her live. I let her live when we in the ride, man. But I also have Vince as well. That's why I spoke on it. So I won't go too much more on Vince's project. But the other person I had on my list was Schoolboy Q with Blue Lips. I haven't taken that out of rotation. I like the fact that the album is jarring. You know what I mean? In terms of just the direction it goes in. Like you'll have a subdued beat like a Blue Lips, and then all of a sudden we right into something that's just hard hitting and typical Schoolboy Q, where he's just using those abstract sounds to get his sound. So I love the soul samples and everything he was doing on there. Ab Soul was showing his that Ab Soul run, the run of the song with Ab Soul feature, and then the very next one with Freddie Gibbs, and that tail end of that album was a
right there in the
heater.
middle.
Right in that middle part was like, man, that's usually where artists kind of makes or break themselves, in terms of just you crowning this as one of the better albums whenever it drops. And I think he really, cemented itself. And definitely moving forward with TDE, like, future's still bright with them despite, Kendrick being gone. But, if they're still making these type of albums and taking their time, like I could only imagine what the next J-Rock album, or, when Ab-Soul decides to come back around, you know what I mean, and drop something. So yeah, this is a fire project from start to finish. It's a little slow on the start, you know what I mean, but if you could get past that track 2, 3, I think if you could get to Thank God for Me, it's after that, it's smooth sailing on a project. He got a little bit of everything that you want, you know what I'm saying. And I learned a little bit more about Q. This is one of them albums to where I'm like, okay, all these other joints, unless you listen to it intently, he hasn't given you so much of himself. But this album seems like almost 5 years worth the wait. So very, very dope project. So, but yeah.
Yes, I was gonna say I agree. It's a little bit of everything, and I do kind of wish the song with Rico Nasty was like a little longer, or that was something else too. But yes, I can appreciate the layers. There's layers. It's like emotions, and like you're saying, the samples, the sounds, and there's the upbeat songs, there's the downbeat type songs. So I definitely feel like you said, it's a quality project. The quality is there, the production is there, and like you just said, I mean, some things take time. So at least this is what he delivered. It wasn't a bust. It was like, okay, it did what it was supposed to do. And not only that, the album art is just amazing. Like the young lady with the gap, I'm just like, I love that so much. So just the whole rollout and the themes and everything they're doing. I think they just shot the video recently. I'm not sure which exact song, but my friend's son was casted for the music video. So I'm just like, I love it. He's working, but he's also inclusive. He's bringing others up. And this is, I feel like, how you should not just roll out an album, but they're still promoting it. He's doing interviews. Like, I think he did like not a relaunch, but he's, doing the vinyls and there's merch and stuff. So they're really pushing this album. And I just appreciate to see him back in this moment, in this zone. And he's a father, he's mature, so it's showing like the growth.
Yeah, and to your point of the rollout and who he's talking to, he's giving like a lot of indie podcasters or podcasters you don't even know about an opportunity, and the homies too. Sure. Back on Fig, he had one of his best interviews with the Back on Fig guys. Yes. Also, it's another young lady, I forget her name, where
Eloise.
Her where it was a good interview, and I had never heard of the two people, but yeah, I'm a huge Schoolboy fan, so I'm twice in Vegas when I was.
I feel like that's what you're supposed to do when you got all these eyes on you. Go to the, I don't want to say podcast, but yes, go to the right platforms. Don't go on these platforms that's gonna play with you and your brand and your music and your legacy. And clearly, these outlets know what they're talking about. Some of the bigger ones, they're not always so tapped in and they don't know what's going on. So I appreciate him or any artist that's willing to sit down with people, not just based on the followers and stuff like that. No, there's some people doing their homework, doing the research. So shout out to him and any artist that's willing to speak to people, on the come up, and we're still, cooking up, but we know what we're doing. We know what we're talking about. So I appreciate that too.
Yeah, and I'm that kind of fan. I nerd out on that kind of stuff, just to kind of, put a button on that. I nerd out on that stuff. So when they do go to these different people and stuff like that, it's always refreshing to kind of catch something I typically didn't catch in all of this music that comes out, to where, when they ask an intricate question, to your point, if they go to a breakfast club, you may get a fun interview, but it may not be in depth. And I like in depth interviews as opposed to the I got you and the funny stuff, which is cool.
You like that boring shit.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm the Elliot Wilsons of the world, but we'll leave your love for sci-fi and all the boring shit you like out of this, because it's, but anyway, Prez, we'll circle back to you.
No. I want to talk about that album too. Okay. Like, when we had talked about it, my first time doing that, like I took it to the gym with me that morning, and I want to just tell you, that ain't the way to, get introduced to that album. It's a ride album. You need to ride the song. It took me a while. I listened to it the first time. I was like, man, I don't know about this, man. And then it took me 2 weeks to get back around to it. But once I was like, I hit me a long drive and was on it, I was like, okay, I fuck with this album. So yeah, initially, it's all about location and how you hear something, when you hear something, and that gym. It was killing me. It was killing me in the gym, man. I was like, I think I had all-time lows at the gym that day.
And definitely don't hit an album on shuffle that you really like. Like, do y'all listen to an album on shuffle? Like when you enjoy an artist, like do you like just
like on shuffle? The first time? No.
Oh, okay. Prez does that all the time.
Got to.
Yeah, he does that all. That is weird.
Yeah, on the first listen.
If it's a good,
on the first, the first listen, he just shuffles.
Probably not on the first listen, but there is sometimes I'll just go and just shuffle, because there's albums I'm learning it like back to back. Like I know this back to back. So sometimes I'll mix it up, but not probably on the first listen. It depends.
Yeah, I'm just giving them shit for that. I'm like, dog, what are you doing out here?
I had my playlist on shuffle, and then it went to like the next album when I was listening to Drake some years back. That way he's still giving me shit about. But, so what was that? The Scorpion album? Listening to that all on shuffle.
I don't know which one it is, but you continue to do it, man. So who else you got? So you have Blue Lips on your list as well, Prez?
No, I didn't have Blue Lips, but I really do appreciate that album. Like I said, it's just all about, like I said, where you get introduced to it at first. Like I said, it took me, after that initial, I was just like, but 2 weeks later, I'm go back into it, and then it got plenty of play since then on my album. So we all good on that. So Q is one of my favorite artists. So Benny the Butcher, everybody can't go. So, man, I really like this Benny the Butcher album. I know like some things on Tana Talk 4 everybody didn't like. I think he went back and corrected a couple missteps that he may have had on that album. And this one is played like all the way through, man. It just goes Jermaine's Graduation, Brun, Big Dog featuring Lil Wayne. Speaking of Lil Wayne, where you was talking on the past album where he actually gave a quality verse, I felt like it was the same on this one right here. Everybody Can't Go, Trust More Valuable Than Love, 1 Foot In featuring Stove God Cooks, Buffalo Kitchen Club. You had Pillow Talk Slander, Pillow Talk and Slander with Jada Kiss and produced by Hit Boy. Babyface Ray was on that as well. And then while I was saying how he corrected some missteps where he had the 10 more commandments on Tana Talk, and everybody said like, I don't know if it really fit. He had How to Rap on here, and I think that it gave a little bit of his way of like trying to introduce something in that same little vein, but it was very more like it was a lot more play. I think it's kind of be the standard on those type of songs now. Like so, How to Rap on there, and then Griselda Express. Every time we want to say the group breaking up, they get back together and make a classic over here, man. So that one, and then ending with Big Timers, showing a little down south love.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not bad
for
at that
his
selection.
for his major, they say debut for the first fucking 10 albums, but for his Def Jam debut, I think he handled it, well. So like I just think fans were, expecting another 10, 12 track album with Alchemist, Derringer, Beat Butcher, all that kind of shit. But they also got to understand, like, he signed on Def Jam now. So it's not about, hey, I get, X amount. It's like, no, I got to make sure Snoop recoups because he signed him. So I got to have those tracks with Peasy. I got to have the Babyface Ray. I got to have a couple singles, and then I can still have, that Griselda reunion track. I can still have the other people that I want to, bring. So like, to me, I feel like if you expectation set that album right, it's a good album, but most fans, they don't expectation set it right. So like when I was listening to it, I was like, man, this is a pretty good album. And people were like, no, like it's terrible. I'm like, man, he signed to Def Jam. I'm like, this ain't a Griselda album or a BSF album. I'm like, he's got to make money. It's his first goal, Like Snoop signed him, so he's got to, give him a good record that sells. So I liked it. I liked it for what it was,
I mean, still, majority of the songs was produced by Alchemist or either Hit Boy, right? So I mean, still
It's a
falls in
different
that same
type of
little
sound.
vein.
It's a different type of
Yeah,
sound. Like so,
but
we
like
know.
a lot of fans will even just see.
I was gonna say
Go ahead.
we know what Alchemist can do in terms of making a hit, but it's more inviting, hold you down. Like it's countless joints that Alk has made over the course of the years to where it's a more lighter hearted joint, but the MCs that are some of the dopest ones get on it, and that's how you kind of Alchemist produced it. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of got that built in excuse. You know what I mean? But nevertheless, man.
So do people like the rapper or do they like the producer? Because if they saying
Both.
like they like the grimy sound over here and that what he giving you, I felt like Benny didn't change on this. He probably gave you the best Benny he can give you on here, and then you still had it
Ruben
mixed
can
in
speak
with
to
it.
this.
So
Ruben's in the trenches. Ruben can speak to this. He's in the trenches with it, with the opinion.
So that's kind of throwing me off over there a little bit. You just don't like nobody making it big? That's what it is?
That's what it is.
I mean, his fans, that's what I felt like their big thing was because, look, there's the Griselda track. He's got a track with Snoop. He's got a track with what's her name? Armani, Caesar. He's got the BSF track, right? So he's given us shit that he's dropped before with the producers that people have said they really liked. I think it's evenly split. Alchemist did a half. Hit Boy did half. So it's people that they like him to work with, but they see that one track with a big artist and they get upset. I mean, for me, like I'm just like, is the music good? If I just don't like that song, I just won't listen to that song. That song's actually cool, like to me personally. But some people, they just see the name and they're like, oh, but he's like, okay, then don't listen to that song. There's 12 other ones. You know what I mean?
But brought up a great point
Go ahead,
with people being I don't want to say signed, but people have deals or situations with these labels. So it's like they got to cater to other things and people and demographics as well. If he was still just independent or just on their own thing, then that's what you're going to get. But when other things come into play, they want to probably get some radio play, some placement, some sync licensing opportunities and other things. So it's bigger than this. I don't want to say the fans sometime, but it's a lot of things and factors and stuff going on. So when I listen to stuff, I, as a music fan and aspiring executive in A&R, I have that cap on because I know, okay, sometimes they got to make these type of albums. They got to make this type of project. So shout out to Benny the Butcher, and the homie Osby Chill is actually the newest member of the Black Soprano family. He's from South Central. So shout out to
Nice.
all of them because they're on Unity. Like, I love what they're doing. They connect with West Coast artists and other Southern artists. That's what we need to see. Like, it's a lot of tension and drama and beef and competition when we're better together. So I appreciate that they do that as well. They give us the Griselda, the New York, the East Coast, but then they can come and do something with Larry June. They can come do something with Snoop and these other artists. So, like you said, Ruben, there's other factors, and I think sometimes the fans don't care or they don't think about it. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing too. It's just these artists have to either pick and choose or find the balance because it's like you're gonna make the label happy, the fans happy. It's a lot of things going on. So I personally just try to have that in mind and keep an open mind, and instead of just not saying you're bashing people, Prez, but you got your expectations and that's okay. But again, it is a lot of factors and things that go on into these albums, and it gets deep out here, y'all. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. And that's why I say like I don't down no artist. Like we go back to the Vince Staples. I was saying like every time he do that, and I don't feel like I vibe to the music, I ain't gonna bash him. I'm just gonna go back to Summertime '06. What I like, the music didn't go away. I don't have to like keep listening and force you to make me like this new sound. I like him and this right here, and it's still there. So I can enjoy it just like he can continue to put out music however you want to. It's not gonna change my opinion about his original album. And then if he ever come back, it's gonna still have me checking for him because I like that piece of work, so I will always check and I look for him to come back on that route. So that's what I want to say about that. But Cash or Ruben, like man, one of y'all got to pose a question, and I feel like this was better than Tana Talk 4. This album is that not the growing opinion? Because I know everybody hated the 10 more commandments on there. That was a talk for a minute. Everybody was like down in that, like, oh, you should have did this.
I don't know. I have to watch the tape again. You know what I mean? I had to let me look at
Just
it.
propose the question, like just put it
I
out there
don't
on
know.
the Twitter
I'd
space.
have
Just
to
say
look.
like, hey, what do you feel about it? Was this better than Tana Talk 4? Because everybody have that revisionist history. They be going back changing their thoughts, bro. Like J. Cole had everybody hating Pimp the Butterfly.
Man.
Butterfly, yeah.
What I will say about it, and before I lose my point, because I'm getting old, man. The fan aspect of it, and the people, kind of not wanting to just hold in this person to the side and just keep them right here in their pocket and not really wanting them to grow. Yeah, I gotta be logical, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta allow these guys to grow and see them, and still support them. Like I got several artists that have dropped maybe 3-4 joints in a row where I'm like, but then when they drop that one, I'm still rocking. You know what I mean? I'm like I said, I'm cool to let it go off in on the side, but I don't think Benny really fell too far from his roots on this project. And again, to what all y'all said, it's a balancing act. You know what I mean? You gotta make those records because you don't want to keep performing in the same, 500 person little event. You want to get some more bread. You want to do
Elevate.
different things, elevate, not work as hard. You know what I mean? Like there's certain people in certain deals that have to work really hard, Drake. You know what I mean? And rightfully so. If I pay you $400 million, work. It's time to work. You know what I mean? So that's all I see it as. You know what I mean? And a lot of us are strictly fans of the music and really don't get into the industry politics and are unforgiving when it comes to that. You know what I mean? So
I see it as elevation, growth, transitioning, crossover. Like, y'all want these artists to stay in the same level or boxed in, or you want to see them cross over? Like O3 Greedo right now, he's kind of doing more house alternative type stuff because he's known, for whatever, the project music and stuff. Like, I love that. Keep crossing over. Go ahead. Like, I think Kaylin for real's doing stuff with Steve Aoki or however you say his name. Yeah, I want to see that more artists doing outside of the box things, or they're expanding the brand. It's time, and we have to support as fans. We don't have to love it, but it's like, yes, these are people of color mostly, and we got to support, but we don't have to love it. But it's just like, I want to see these empires grow. We grew up with Bad Boy, Rockefeller. There's new empires, and we have the chance to support them and help them come up.
Facts, fact. All right. So next project.
They don't repeat the stakes of those ones.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, Ruben,
that's
I
why
think
it's a pivotal time right now, because we see what's happening. So that's a warning for all those that's on that type of time. It's done. It's over. Come correct, or it's over. So, yeah.
Facts. I think, Ruben, it's on you, man. You up next with your next project.
All right. So my next one, and this is probably my album of the year for now. So Luca, I'm a real bad man. I'm gonna need to look at this title because it's long. Temple needs water. Village needs peace. So Luca, he's, to me, he takes these really maybe abstract or deep themes and he just makes them very conversational. So instead of saying, "Hey, don't eat meat; it's bad for you. Water your plants. Go for a run," like he tells a story alongside it. He gives his own insight, his own experiences, and I like how he mixes it in where it's not just his own stories, but sometimes they're cautionary tales, like what happens when you don't do certain things a certain way that it should be done. And so for me, I think he's on this crazy run right now, in which he's given a lot of game, but he's not lecturing you. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like just hearing from a wise person who doesn't just, oh, do as I say, but just like they're actually telling you like why you shouldn't touch the stove, like why you shouldn't do that. So like for me, like I just love the knowledge and the different perspectives he brings here. It's not very heavy on the features, but he's got Billy Woods, and then the bass player from Portishead, and then he's got a few other artists featured on here. But I think as of right now, like if it were to end right now, this would be my album of the year. Yeah, I mean, he's just a great storyteller. For me, I just think it's a brilliant project. I doubt anyone else has heard this. Luca's not a huge.
I just think you just made a best friend, Ruben. I think you just made a best friend up here.
I'm right there with you, man. When the black touches
you see the smile on his face as soon as you said his name, boy. He was grinning from ear to ear.
Let's go, man. Hell yeah, man. I champion him every year, man. Like I've been saying it like since I heard that first one. I was just like, I love the when the black hand when the black hand touches you, because like even like he was on that, like the breath control, it was gave it a more raw look feel. And I was explaining that to Kash and him, and I was like, I'll give it. Yeah, Luca has been heavy on my playlist like for the past couple of years. So yeah, man, glad. Thank you. Somebody else noticing. Look at this.
Yeah, he's from Nashville, right? Or
Tennessee?
Memphis,
yeah, Tennessee.
So he's nice, and I just think like sound wise, that's a lot of good.
But he don't sound like a Southern artist.
No, he don't. Not at all. I wouldn't have known that. Yeah, I wouldn't have known that.
I love when they do that, and I'm definitely gonna look him up. Y'all done found y'all tribe in here. I gotta look him up and listen. Get tapped in now.
Oh, for sure. Hey, we gonna have to send all these albums out because like I said, this is a put on too. You know what I mean? Like I haven't heard that Luca, and that's another album you ain't sent to me, man. It's a shame to call you a friend, bro.
That's a lie.
You ain't sent the latest Luca. You have not
sent that damn album to you. It's with Real Bad Man. I told you.
Maybe I overlooked it. Maybe I did. But it is what it is. All right, yeah, I'm gonna tap in, man. Two people I respect here, so I'm definitely gonna tap into it at some point here soon. Ty, who do you have up next?
The topics though, like he's saying, the topics is very deep. You know what I mean? Like what he's gonna do is conscious rap. rap starting off, and then like he got a little bit more poignant. Just like if you remember, Lupe did the album. What was that one?
Tetsuo and you.
Was that the Drogas Wave when he was like, going on to Manila and all this little stuff? It goes down that type of angle, like you know what I mean? Just talking.
All right, be trapped in a plane or on a long drive. Listen to it.
It's cool. It's good.
Makes sense. Just let y'all know, everybody, we at that hour mark. So if you got more time, stick around. If you don't, you know what I mean. Okay. Or if you got more to say, Prez, then you can kind of go ahead and take it for now.
Got my final album, and then I say it and be out. Unless did you have yours? You was next, right?
Yeah, Ty was next.
Huh?
I think Ty was next. Yeah,
go ahead. I'll wait my turn. Go ahead.
All right, cool.
So again, I'm really not trying to show any bias.
You can show your bias.
But I'm gonna go with La Russell, Big Hit, and Hit Boy with Rent Due.
That's one of mine too.
I'm a fan of all of these gentlemen, and I've kind of been building a rapport and getting locked in with them all this past last year. And I just appreciate this album because I know they did it on a whim. Their work ethic is crazy. And they not lying in their raps. Like, we know they were telling the truth. And I'm just inspired by La Russell's run, Hit Boy, and what he's doing with his dad. My biological didn't bother. So I see any man, connecting with their child and father and bonding and coming back together after being reincarcerated. Like, I'm so inspired. And again, they're not lying. And in the music, I know they telling the truth. So, and Miss Jane Hancock is actually on that, I believe.
She's on track 3 or 4
as well. Yeah, we really do this in real life. And they making music for me because I'm really outside. So it's like, there's some people we really step in and we're not just on Twitter tweeting or these podcasts and we're not qualified. So this music is theme music to me. And I'm like, okay, like, and again, the generational link up from the Bay to LA. We together, we locked in. The coast is up right now. Sorry, y'all. The West Coast is up. So it's like we are showing unity. We showing growth. It's a new generation. And Big Hit's Hit Boy's dad is like 50 plus years old. And it's like his energy is insane.
It's through the roof. He
probably can outwork some of these young men. So I just like to see that generational link up. Like, La Russell, this young man, and Big Hit coming together. And it's just like, I want to see dope shit like that to continue to happen. Put this person and this person together who we didn't see and think to come together. And the music is actually there. So again, not trying to show any of my bias, but shout out to Good Company. Shout out to Surf Club Inc. Those my people. And we all are working. We locked in. And again, the music is speaking for itself. They're not lying in their raps. They ain't saying stuff they don't got to say. They're not pretending. They ain't acting. And they're not bragging. So I appreciate that too sometimes. Because some of these people, we know they are lying. You are not that person. And I got more heart than you. So it's like, I want to hear people that's real. And they're not putting on an act or portraying to be something that they're not.
Yeah, to the realness point, like you see the growth of everybody involved, right? If you pay attention to what his team is doing, like T, for example, super nervous with getting on the mic to do her poetry and all that. You've seen her throughout, on Instagram and stuff like that, kind of share her story. And now that she's on his album, leading it off with spoken word and stuff like that, and it gets into what the Russell does. And the fact that he could do these albums and not make it sound like some cookie cutter stuff. I know he drops a lot for a lot of people and it's hard to catch him or what project to go to. But I definitely have maybe 2-3 projects that I can probably, if people ain't tapped in, I can say these are the ones you should go to just to get your feel for him. And this Hit Boy one is definitely one that kind of got him with the heads that necessarily ain't tapped in with him, because you see him all over social media. Hard to miss him. You know what I mean? And my last point is it's funny how I like his music, right? Because I talk to Prez about this all the time.
It's not. It's because where we was at in our early 20s.
Oh yeah, we did come up in Cali. So we did come up in Cali. We spent like our first couple years in Cali in the military. So specifically in Vacaville, near Vallejo, maybe 40 minutes from Sacramento, Oakland, and stuff like that. So we got an appreciation and just a love for Cali in general. We was all up and down the coast many moons ago. I won't date ourselves, so it was a long time ago. But my point is I don't like a whole lot of preachy rap and stuff like that. Like what Ruben was saying earlier. But like this kid, I mean not kid, this man is just like, it makes me forget that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's super motivational music, what he's doing, showing you this stuff and rapping about it, man. So yeah, this been on rotation since it dropped. I paid for it. I think they dropped it on
Exactly.
even
Even
biz
big.
first. So yeah, I
Yeah.
purchased it, rock with it, and I love what he's doing with giving people points and different credits and with fan interaction. So everything kind of
Yes.
melded together with this, and I'd love to if they like really sat down again and put together a project, a super focused
Yeah.
project that didn't occur in a week or two. But I mean, he's doing it and he's doing it at a high level, so I can't be mad at it,
And
and
also,
I do
like you
enjoy
said,
it.
bringing up others too with him, and not just him, but like Hit Boy and others. Like that's what's in right now. Community. Like let's help each other shine. Or yeah, shout out to the producers. Shout out your team and your crew and these people that's making these things happen. And that's beautiful to see too. And yeah, I'm just inspired by the whole movement, and I hope that we all can see each other grow and them as well. Like it's a shift happening in the industry right now, especially here in LA and the Bay. It's a big shift, and it's just inspiring. It's a lot of people just like getting what they're due or they're owed, and I feel like yeah, just stay true and make good music, and move righteous, live righteous, and things are gonna be okay. But if you out here putting out bull, yeah, you gonna attract the dumb stuff and the weird stuff. So I just appreciate that there's some artists that's giving us, like we're saying, the quality, things we can relate to, but also we're seeing this happen in real time. We are invested in these people's success, and I'm able to. I've been to La Russell's house, but it's like we could go to this man's house and see him perform. Hit Boy, I was just with them the other day, so it's like this is beautiful, and shout out to them for seeing the fans in the community. They see you, Ruben. They see what y'all doing. So there's some talent that will overlook that. So it's like shout out to La Russell and Hit Boy and everyone that acknowledges the smaller people, the community, the fans. They see us in the comments. They see us in our content. They see your playlist. They know what y'all doing. So shout out to everyone that's, just doing their part, but also the talent that sees us, because they could act easily, ignore it and
Yep.
dismiss it.
Well,
So
once
I
you get
just,
on, pretend like you don't
acknowledge the
exist. Yep.
shift.
For sure. For
I
sure.
got I got like two thoughts on this one. So I like the link up. You know, yeah, I mean, it's weird because like not being from the coast, it might seem, like the Bay, like LA don't really work together, right? But I mean, it's always been happening, right? And a lot of it's like both ways, right? Both places rely like on the other as kind of their second big market, right? So once you max out your venues in Berkeley, Oakland, Sacramento, well, the next natural spot for you to go is LA, right? Or somewhere down there. So I loved this album for that, and I think La Russell is that type of artist who could make the gumbo project. He'll do the slaps, but then he'll give you that track like the one with Jane Hancock on it, where it's just like that doesn't sound nothing like the one before it or the one after it, but it's authentically La Russell, and I like that Hit Boy. I mean, he had those big hit records like in the mid 2010s or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
the Beyonce records and all that,
Yeah,
and then
niggas
people
in
thought he
Paris.
just
Yep. Yep. Yep.
yeah, like he just went nowhere, right? And like he just like disappeared and then he reemerged. But he was on the West Coast just working that whole time. And so
Mm-hmm.
now to see him like, okay, like he has the people's attention through the Benny, production, the Nas production, etc. Now he's tapping back in. I love that for him. And then the last thing that I want to mention, because Ty mentioned it, was the fact that Big Hit is, I think he's featured on one or two of the tracks here. So I love, the father son thing, and I just find it interesting that this story isn't being told more. If Big Hit, if he were to get locked up right now
Then
and get
it
20 years, that would be all over every fucking podcast. But you got a son and a dad rebuilding their relationship, and everyone's like, okay,
in
but is
real
he working with
time.
Nas again? Okay, but is he working with Benny yet? Who the fuck cares? He's working with his dad.
Right. They got
Right?
slaps.
It's like
They
who
got
cares about
slaps.
Nas? like so I'm gonna jump off
Yeah.
my soapbox because I love when artists can have good relationships with their parents, especially their dads, because that's not,
It's
I
not
think there's
normal.
a
Yeah, it's
false narrative
unfortunately right.
that these rappers don't have dads involved in their
Yeah.
lives, and a lot of them don't,
We get it.
but a lot of them do.
Right.
So
Get it, Ruben.
I'm done with
Yeah.
my lecture.
Right.
Hey, you better
That's
be
it. That's it.
rooting for the Lakers. You better be rooting for the Lakers next year when they got Bronny and knowing they're gonna make it to the damn championship.
Yeah. That's
I'm waiting
it.
for them to
Fire.
trade his ass to Atlanta, man. Him and his dad, both of them. I'll take the trade.
Nah, man, they good, man. They gave us that championship. They did bring a championship back. He can't hate on Bron too much, man. He is what he is. But my last one, Cash, will be J. Cole will delete later.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this was got Pricey featuring Gucci Mane. You had Crocodile Tears. You had Ready 24 with Cameron, which great. Overall, no matter what everybody else feels about they little quick little quirks or whatever they want to say, quips that they want to throw at J. Cole for apologizing and everything to go on, we see how the battle kind of ended up. If he didn't want to be involved in that, hey, I kind of see, after everything to kind of settle, why he kind of backed out of it. But I'd be damned if I'm just throw away this whole project and just negate what he done kind of released up in here, because everything else was up in there. I honestly didn't. That was the worst song on the album they released, was the diss on that. Everything else was fire, and I felt like Pie was the actual diss up in there, and it's still on there. It's, if you listen at the raps and stuff, I mean, that's kind of. It seems like he got a bunch of stuff in there. Like I can break it down for you if you wanted to, but I mean, I ain't for that. Overall, the album, it is what it is. And lyrically, I think J. Cole still stands on his own. People gonna be finicky like they are. They're gonna fall off for a minute, come out with a new album, the fall off coincidentally, and then they'll be right back on it. Just as long as he don't drop no more of that shit like Grippy or nothing like that, bro. You can't be having those kind of looses getting out there, bro. Like, nah, they can't. You can't talk all this legacy talk and then let those type of tracks slip out, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm just like waiting for him to drop the fall off. Like, not because I actually want to hear it, but because I feel like it's been talked about so much. So he could just drop it and like it could just be over. Because I feel like he's been hyping it like the last two or
Since
three albums. It's
KOD.
like, oh yeah, but the fall
Since
off is coming.
KOD. Yeah, since
KOD. I'm like, just drop the album, because KOD was not it. That last one he dropped in 2022 was all right.
I think that the
And I
one in
guess this one was
2022 was
Whoa.
2022.
You talking about the
Really?
one? No.
The one with the fire, with the one with the fire backboard. That joint.
The one that had
Lights, Friday night.
Cameron on the
Was it,
intro, I think.
In 21
yeah, you
Savage
didn't
on a
like that.
single. On a single.
It was cool, but I'm just like, if you got something better in the tuck, drop
Then
that
just
shit
drop.
instead
Then
of
just
this.
drop that. Yeah. Yeah. Just drop
He
that.
got the
Like,
concept in his head. The album
if
haven't
you got an
probably
A
been put
paper,
together.
give
There's
me
no
a
way
C+.
that album put together that long. He's been talking about it since 4-5 years. We
It's
ain't
like
trying to
fucking
get on songs 4-5 years ago. But overall, like I said, like this one, the might delete later. Everything on here is like fire. Like I listened at this song through and through. I know in the midst of the battle that was going on, I fell off for a little bit on it, but the minute that was over with, settled, I had enough of it. They kind of like wore us out constantly just with the releases. I went back to this and I was just like, man, everybody's crazy for just writing off J. Cole as he is. All these features he done gave over the past couple of years, where he's just, anytime he get on the track, he's killing it. And then he dropped this, which is not a technical album. It was supposed to be like a mixtape, right? And then it's a solid body of work. I want to conclude it as an album, So that's kind of how I feel on this.
I just want to say J. Cole to me is like, he's definitely not for everyone. And I think it takes a certain type of person. I don't know. I'm not trying to call people dumb out here. I'm really not trying to insult people's intelligence, but I appreciate him being that type of artist. But then he can kind of, I don't want to say dumb it down, but he can. And I just appreciate him for existing. And like back when I was like going through a lot and I was like a homeless college student, I would listen to him. I would listen to Nipsey. I would listen to Dom Kennedy. They helped me get through like some really, really, really dark times. But also he's educated. So that is something I'm like, he's gonna always stand out for me lyrically. creatively, things like that. Not just saying because he went to college, but that definitely that helped, and I'm gonna always big him up. So I think for the fall off, maybe it could be something like how Nip it took Nip 10 years to make the album.
Yeah.
I can't think of the album, but some
Victory
stuff
Lap.
takes
Victory Lap.
Victory lap. Yep.
sorry y'all, I have a brain fart. But yeah, it took him like 10 plus years to make Victory Lap. So I think we definitely can't count J. Cole out, or he ain't with I don't want to say Rock Nation, but he hasn't been this around this long for no reason. So I'm looking forward to whatever else he does give us. But there's times where I want to hear that type of rap, like we're saying. Some people don't want to hear these lyrical
At all.
double entendre.
Yeah, they don't want to hear that at all.
I want to hear all of that because I feel like I'm learning. Like he putting me on game and stuff. So I just appreciate him for being that type of complex artist. But he's staying true to his roots, and he also shows love to the East Coast, the Queens side of him and stuff too. So I don't know. I don't care. I'm showing my bias, but I can't ever count him
But
out. Ever.
I felt like he did the whole double entendre, triple entendre, like all the stuff that you want to hear on the song Pie, where he had Daylight and Ab Soul on there. If you go back, like I say, go back and listen to it. I felt like that was his best one on there. And then, like I said, if the way he structured his songs and comes, I still appreciate J. Cole for what
exactly.
He is.
Me too. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just another. This is
I
just
didn't mean
another.
to be the anti-Cole person, so I will say I gave this another listen, and he definitely did get the short end of the stick. In the sense of like people, they heard that he deleted the verse, and then they made it sound like, okay, well, the other 58 minutes on this is trash. I'm like, that's not necessarily true. I mean, yeah, I didn't like that he did it either. But to Prez's point, once we seen when the smoke settled, like we understand, like it didn't need to involve him, right? You know what I mean? And so he stepped away. But ultimately, I think this is much like Benny's album. People, they seen one or two things they didn't like about it, and then just okay, it was bad, trash, it's mid. Like, no, the fuck it's not. Like,
if you're gonna have your parameters in hip hop and everybody ain't gonna continue to be hypocrites about it, then I want to just see you kind of just stay in it. If you want to say, "Oh, we ain't doing no snitching," all right, then you gotta cut out this artist that we know that got caught snitching. If you want to say this artist that don't write their rhymes, I want you to cut out this artist completely that don't write their rhymes. But nobody's ever gonna do that. So cut the bullshit that we ain't gonna listen at J. Cole because he apologized. We're gonna make our joke, and if he come out with a fire ass album, we're gonna listen to it. That's just what it is. Well, it's different time moves on. Right. Everybody painting their nails, doing this. We made it to a time where everybody like doing a lot of stuff that we say we wouldn't have did. You know what I mean? And it's just like, bro, just get over it. Enjoy the music for what it is.
Right. Yeah. And to the point where, kind of going leading into our next segment in terms of just, people you're looking forward to or people that are doing their thing. You got to go, Prez? Okay. All right, man. Prez, appreciate you, man. I'll let you, man.
Okay, well, I was just going to speak about the Dog Pound album. So shout out to the Dog Pound. They dropped. So check it out.
Yeah. So my last thing, though, to the Cole point, and just to kind of tie up the whole J. Cole segment, is just really like, I think this is like this is the biggest album of his career that he has to absolutely nail. Just much to your point about you saying, hey, he's been talking about this forever. Like, this is his magnum opus. This is probably the last one before he maybe takes a little bit more interest into Dreamville artists and developing them. You know what I mean? He may take a little bit of a hiatus because he's been very consistent, dropping throughout the last couple of years. So he has to deliver an undeniable album. I'm not saying it has to be a classic, but it has to be a 4.5, a 4. You know what I mean? If we talking mics, he has to do that, in my opinion. So this is probably one of his bigger albums, and I hope it comes out this year. I'm not sure if he's gonna do it in light of everything that has happened. You know what I mean, with the battle and everything. But I hope he does. Because I think we'll probably get a dope album. I remember when he got dissed with Takeover. You know what I mean? It was spooky out here for Nas. You know what I mean? Like, what is he gonna do? His career is over, blah, blah, blah. Then he drops probably, Stillmatic, one of his better albums in his discography. And I wasn't a huge Nas fan, being from New York City at the time. But that album, you couldn't deny that. Once it dropped Ether and then everything else on there was fire. So I hope he comes with the album like that to where it really kind of cements his legacy. I don't think he really needs to cement his legacy, but I think for the way he pulled out of this battle and the diss record and retracting it, he has to kind of come with it, in my opinion. So who are some artists that's on the rise for you guys, or just some artists that you're looking forward to dropping the remainder of the year as we move forward?
You could go first.
Me or you, Ty? It's up to you.
You could go first.
Okay. So the ones. Wait. So is it on the rise or projects we're looking forward to,
We can go
or
to On
like
the
somehow
Rise.
blend?
On the Rise. We'll start with On the
On the
Rise.
rise first.
Yep.
Yeah. So for me, the first one, I'll kind of merge the two. So perpetually been on the rise. For me since I don't know, maybe about 21, 22. Patty Honcho, his next joint is dropping on I think it's June 7th is the Bandcamp
Bandcamp,
release,
yeah.
and then I think a week or two later is the major DSP release. But that project is going to be titled Black Madonna, and so Patty's been talking uh, a lot about it. He dropped the track list, I think maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Some really good producers on there. I mean, features as well. So that's one of the ones I'm like really looking forward to. As for his previous projects, I had to check out the Black Exploitation from last year that he dropped last year. Incredible. I think it fell somewhere in my top 10, but if I were to re-rank last year, it would probably be top 5. So just an incredible piece that I think really showed Patty's range. I mean, I think before that, Patty was, very strong in the storytelling and the punchline type of shit. But I think this showed that Patty could make records that you could dance to, and I don't know that people knew that he had that. But him and Greenery, who produced most of the album, they did an amazing job with that. But yeah, Patty Honcho from Jersey. But yeah, he's one of those ones who people should be looking out for.
For sure. And we were, I was lucky enough to have him and Green on the podcast when that album dropped. So if y'all want to go check it out, kind of get to know what Patty Honcho and Greenery helmed most of the production on that album. There's some other producers on there that did their thing as well. But yeah, he definitely showed growth from, I'd probably say life when he had the one with Numbs, when I knew he had it in him to really make records. But then once he got to Black Exploitation, then it was like, okay, yeah, he really can make records. All he needs is just the team in place to truly, kind of be mentioned in a more known indie level, I would say. So yeah, there's this next one. I'm looking forward to it as well. As for me, I think it's a few artists, but Jamla artist Ruben Vincent. I don't know if y'all heard of him. He just dropped a project a couple months ago called General Admission. So, I've been watching everything he's been dropping in terms of just his affiliation with Ninth Wonder and Guru, Jay-Z's engineer, and just all the stuff they've been doing with him and kind of grooming him over the course of the years to kind of be who he is now. He got the song Big Bank. I don't know if y'all heard of that song Big Bank, where it's kind of leaning into his heritage vibes in terms of the type of sound that he has. But yeah, I think he's really gonna make some waves as he kind of moves forward. But General Admission is an EP he dropped this year if y'all want to go check it out. So he's definitely one of the artists on the rise for me. So I'll let you go next time.
I'm trying not to be so biased. So
West Side Tie, right? Ruben, she is true.
I consult and network with a lot of artists, so I got my ears and eyes on a lot of people. And I'm gonna go with the homie Bale. So he's an artist from South Central, and he actually was shot over 30 times, and his story is just insane. So he's going kind of crazy right now. He's over there with TF and them, and I don't want to say the wrong neighborhoods and crews and stuff,
Okay.
but he's under the right people, And I just appreciate him and just seeing his growth, the development, and his delivery and his like poetry and cadence and things, but also being shot 30 plus times. Like, and you still outside frontlining, rapping, telling your story, doing shows and stuff. So I have to respect that. And he's very nice, very humble. I'm excited to see whatever he comes up with, because he's one of those South Central rappers that to me doesn't sound exactly like a South Central rapper. And I can hear him doing things with East Coast rappers and things like that, and getting on real boom bap type beats and things like that. So I'm just excited to see what he has in store, and just seeing his development and growth and telling his story, being shot 30 plus times. Like, this is crazy. Like 50 Cent, we heard him survive them 9 shots, but Bill,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's huge. His name
is
is
still
the
here
name
with
of
us.
is the name of the
Yeah,
project
it's
The
touching.
Die
His story is touching.
Eclipse? Is it called?
I think that's, yeah.
Okay.
I think he's been dropping a lot of, I don't know if they're like albums, but he's been dropping projects, features, and a lot of content right now. So yes, I'm just excited to see, his next move. And I really love, he has a song with Jason Cash, which Jason Cash is an artist from Carson. And they have a song where they're toasting. It's called Toast, I believe. And they're just celebrating because they're still here and surviving. And just like, he could make a sad, depressing song about getting shot, but he didn't. It's kind of like a celebratory, like, I'm still here. But again, I'm excited to just see what he does and comes up with, and who he collabs with outside of the West Coast market.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just definitely just added him. Trying to add everybody as you guys speak to it. Ruben, who's somebody or a few others that you have as far as on the rise for you? Is it just Patty, or you have anybody else?
Yeah, for me, another one who comes to mind is Dante Thomas. So he's based out of Portland. I would definitely to compare him to a bigger artist, like I say maybe like a Saba, J. Cole type. So more, more. I don't want to say soulful, but just more. Um,
Vibey.
yeah, like not no gang and shit, like not no crazy, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I took 30 perks and I'm on the ground and I hate myself, but just more like I love what I'm doing. I'm trying to do a little bit better though. So Dante Thomas,
Dante
yeah,
Thomas.
dude's brilliant. He dropped a album a few years back where the theme was like apples. So every track um, is based off something that has apples in it. And I think just taking a concept that like focused and still executing, and the songs don't all sound the same, or it's not like very like obvious that he's speaking to this bigger theme. To me, has been crazy, and he's dropping his album June 12th. He's signed to Sky Zoo's label, First Generation Rich, and then he's also signed to Old Soul Music.
Okay.
And so I do some playlisting and some shit for them as well. So Dante Thomas dropping that June 12th.
Okay.
I can't remember the name, but the singles have been pretty good. He's dropped like maybe like 3 or 4 singles at this point. So Kalen Ellis, I was on some production, Geogenesis, if you guys know him,
Mm-hmm.
and a few other artists. Yeah, Dante's nice. Dante's nice.
Okay.
Shout out to Portland, because there's a lot
Yeah.
of other areas and markets popping up, and I'm
Mhm.
definitely interested to see who's next. So shout out to Portland, and I guess that's
They're
the
under the radar hip hop
Northwest.
city. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to
Yeah.
Portland, but like they're under the radar hip hop city. Like they really got some spitters out there. You know what I mean? Just from my little bit
Portland,
of time
Washington. I
out
just
there.
love to see. I feel like, I think someone was talking about North Carolina. Like, I'm interested just to see like the new
Mhm.
market or the new sound, like who's gonna pop out. But y'all know I'm biased, so I'm hoping it be a Vegas artist or an Arizona artist, maybe a Seattle artist, maybe a Portland artist. So I just appreciate to see new sounds and voices and perspectives coming out. Like, I'm gonna definitely, look into Dante's music. Thank you.
Yeah, I got two artists I want to mention real quick, and I won't be long winded with these two, but I'll go to Chicago. So we got Bloodstained Sway 2.5 coming out with artist I Am God and producer Clipto. I've had them on the show. They'll be on June 17th for anybody out there. I think that's what the date we settled on. But yeah, so very very talented artist, man. He spits like rent is due. You know what I mean? I hate to use that term, but that's very much fits what he's doing. Part one, part two, they're the album EPs. I'd have to ask him again what he would classify them as. But they're probably no more than 10 songs, I would say, and it's a lot of some drumlet. It's just I don't know how to describe it, Ruben. It's more like it's just a good feeling. You know what I mean? Like you forget not forget the production, but typically I want to hear like different production on stuff. You know what I mean? But for this project, like it's just he's leading so much with the raps and what he's saying and what he's spitting with conviction, and kind of to see him go from what he's started as and coming back to rap and not wanting to quit, but just kind of taking a break from it, and then ultimately coming back. You've seen him Parks from the Joe Budden podcast. Every time I'm listening to their sleepers and stuff like that, I'm listening really closely. And the two times I happen to just kind of wake up in the from the podcast listening to it, I hear I Am God's song playing. And I'm like, I hit him up every single time. Like, bro, Parks is playing yours as one of the gems, bro. Like, congrats. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's huge for artists, just building themselves up. And he's doing a lot of live shows and really doing the things you're supposed to be doing for your trajectory to kind of get to where it needs to be. And then the last, two artists, Jigs, Bird 285, they just dropped a project called Belly of the Beast. That's another Five project. I had them on, the podcast as well, and I'm not being biased either. But like, I thoroughly enjoy it. You know what I mean? As a fan and what they did. So on that project, it's a quick little 7-track EP with a few skits in there. So these guys are out of Georgia, Atlanta specifically. So y'all check that out, man. Jigs and Bird 285, Belly of the Beast, I Am God, Bloodstained Suede 2. He dropped that. We dropped the same day, actually, when I dropped the EP earlier this year on January 26th. And so check that out so that it gets you prepared for Bloodstained Suede 2 dropping in maybe two weeks. And I think he has something with the Rap Roundtable, a live listening here. So y'all follow him. You'll get to hear it. I guess a day or so before it drops on all DSPs. So if y'all rock with the music, but those are those are the folks I think that are on the rise in terms of just the independent scene and need more ears and notoriety. So if y'all rock with the other opinions, then for the people out there watching, go check it out. And we're gonna have links to our picks and stuff like that to people's albums, or at least the name of the artist and the album, so y'all can go search and enjoy if any of these albums seem like it's you. You know what I mean? So Ty, do you have any other people on the rise and that you want to mention?
Yes, I do. I actually have a lot, but I'll just really quickly just mention a young lady named Rick Jane. She's from South Central. She's also an singer, rapper, and a trumpeter. Or I should look that up. She plays the trumpet. She's an instrumentalist. So sometimes artists they using her on their songs and samples, but for now, like, she kind of goes back and forth. And I think, again, as men, you guys might appreciate her music because it's something you guys can consume and you can intake it. And I feel like it's for everyone, and it's real instrumentalists and lyrics, and like, I appreciate what she's doing as a woman, and there's a lot of rap going on, and she doesn't do that. So when I do want to hear that other type of music, I'll go tune into those artists. So I just want to shout out Rick Jane. She is a phenomenal artist, and she dropped a project last year called, I think, Rick Jane's Got a Gun. So it was just cool to see her kind of play that, with the trumpet. It is like
Rick Jane has the good. Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely need you to just DM me all of these projects, so I can just throw it on later on.
She out here killing it, and it's a lot of women out here killing it. So I do want to shout out. There's another young lady, L.A. Ray. She's dropping soon. She's more on the rap side. She got the sugar-free flow. So I'm just appreciative of women that's coming. Like, give us give it to us. Don't just do this one sound or this one flow. Like, there's women coming. So I'm just gonna, always keep speaking up for the women and the ladies that's out here creating and contributing to the culture as well.
For sure. And I think I got one more. On this list, West Coast as well. But he dropped the album last year, and it was kind of like a murky with TDE Reason. So I don't know if y'all rock with Reason, but it was kind of murky. He was going through his little up and down with with TDE Musa, I think specifically, and just kind of how the
album rollout was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, the support or lack thereof, and I don't know what's the inner workings of it is, but the album I enjoy Reason music thoroughly. Like, he's an elite lyricist, like, and he makes some damn good songs. So he kind of followed that up with the tour, and then now he's been doing the freestyles. And sometimes when rappers rap over other people's beats, I've heard it so much in my mixtape days up until now, I kind of got tired of it. But when he did it, with all these, every week he was dropping something for maybe two and a half months, 3 months. I was like, yo, it made me almost forget the original artist on the song, how well he was going back and smoking it. Punchlines, metaphors, whatever you wanted, he had, and he was doing his thing, and then he offered it on his site, for his fans, and I thought that was dope. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to, whatever he drops next. You know what I mean? Because I think that he's like one of the unsung heroes with TDE. It seems like the stepchild. You know what I'm saying? TDE. You know what I mean? Not that anybody doesn't claim him, but it looks a little weird, but it's dope to see him battling through that, and I do enjoy the freestyles, and I started listening to him when I bought him off his website. So that's my last art. No, that's not my last artist. Sorry. Last but not least, my boy Hype, Trox, Cannonball Run. They dropped that I think in April, I believe he dropped that, and it's dope. I'm on it. Bias, yeah. You know what I mean? But he smokes it, man. He comes and goes. You know what I mean? Hype knows what I mean by that. He needs to be more present. But it is what it is, man. When you rap that good, I guess you can't afford to drop a hot EP and then walk away. But he came back again with another one recently. So I think it's like Let the World Burn, or I didn't write it down, but it's something like that. So it's a 3-track EP. Burn. Yeah, Watch the World Burn on that, and I got production on that. So probably one of the best songs on the whole thing. But I don't want no beef with nobody. But it's my bias. But yeah, that's my last artist on the rise that I wanted to mention. And last but not least, and I keep saying that's my last one, but then I keep talking. We got my man Furious Styles and Numbs. They're dropping here shortly. They just dropped a feature with Sky Zoo. Which is, really dope artist, one of the underground legends, just impeccable pen. And they dropped a really fire single. So, and they're dropping here this Friday, actually. So on the 7th. So looking forward to some of the features they have. I Am God on that project and a few others. So definitely interested to see what comes of that. I haven't heard it, and I talk to these guys almost every day. So it must be special if they holding out. You know what I mean? So
I ain't heard it either, man.
Hey, I ain't even get a snippet. I ain't even get a snippet. They ain't hit nothing in the did. So I know they holding on to something. So shout out to them.
I'm gonna make an ask, man, for both of us, man. Don't know.
Hey man, let me get the early one. You know what I mean? So but yeah, so that should be a dope project. So that's all I have for On the Rise, and I have other albums that we have heard of that I'm looking forward to, but I'll save that until you guys mention whoever else you want to mention.
Just real quick, so I'm gonna go with an artist I kind of been networking with and consulting, but basically was building a rapport. Money Hill Casino. He's an artist from Oakland, and he's out of La Russell's camp as well. But he's more to me like a poetic, poetic gangster. I don't know how to explain, but I appreciate his lyricism and how he paints the pictures, and he's reminiscent to me of like Mozzie a little bit, but I could see him being
a dope project too this year.
And I'm interested to see what he has in store. And since we're kind of networking, what I'm able to help him get into, or what other producers I can introduce him to now that he's here based in Los Angeles, because he's from Oakland. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And La Russell is kind of encouraging him to push his music because he's really dope. So it's like, yeah, he's someone I think we should look out for too, as far as like lyrics and like substance, but also like, I don't want to say it's for the thugs, but for people coming from the mud,
Street.
coming from out
Hey.
the trenches. This is for us. And a lot of the things he's doing is kind of like artistic, but still rooted in, you know, his background and where he comes from.
The
So I appreciate
authenticity.
that.
Yeah, that authenticity.
It's there, but it's still artistic though. Like it's just creative. So I'm just excited to see what else he comes up with, and I'm just looking forward to him and all of these artists that we're speaking about.
For sure. All right. Anybody else you want to mention before we get into just albums we know that may be coming out this year that we're looking forward to?
I'm just gonna mention the names, but I'm not gonna do any description or summary, right? So the theme for this batch is the Bay Area. So the artists, I definitely want to shout out here. I'm trying to put them in order. It don't matter. Ian Kelly, he just dropped a project, Art, on Friday, produced by another artist from Oakland, Overcast. So, you know, that's kind of a twofer. Second one would be Nappy Nina. She's an incredibly dope lyricist. She's based out of Brooklyn now, I think, but Oakland is home. She's also featured on that new project by Ian Kelly. Loe Gino, he's based out of SAC in Berkeley as well. So I actually met him through Ian in, Stunner Man 02. So Stunner Man has definitely been big, you know, gone viral, but he deserves to go viral 10,000 more times. Eat a Solid is an incredible song, just the message and everything. But I wish, you know, that got some more burn. And then last but not least, Nito, the artist that I manage, he's coming back this year. Different vibe, different pocket. We're working through that right now. I'm excited because he's changing up his sound in a way that he really is taking ownership over. So it'll be different, but it's just the evolution of music. You know what I mean? Like, I want him to make what he wants to make, and this is what he's wanted to make. So now he's doing it.
Dope.
Shout out to Stunner Man. Like you said, his message, his energy, the movement.
Yes.
He's just been an awesome artist to connect with. And he honestly shows me much more love than the artists here in Los Angeles that are in my face and able to touch me. This man is in the Bay, and he's been an awesome friend. He's an awesome man, and he is encouraging. Like, again, we're talking about all these rappers, and I feel like the new shift is being a human being. Like, the artists.
That's the only way you're gonna win. That's the only way you're gonna win now.
These artists like Stunner Man and La Russell, they hug their fans. They greet us. They show love and stuff, and that shows, and it's gonna go a long way. And I'm just honored to see this and witness this and even be able to contribute to this conversation. I'm like, thank y'all for having me. But yes, it's a shift happening, and it's up to us. So, you know, like, we're speaking up for these artists, and I'm honored that we can do that. You know, we want to see, we got to be the change we want to see. So.
For sure. And that's why I think it's important to do these. And I wanted to not stop doing lists, the top 10 or this, that, and the third, just what you're feeling. And you don't have to really, you know, we're going to joke and what, really? You want that Future album? You know, that's all well, but like, I don't want to do lists no more. And we've been doing this the last couple of years in terms of just, what do you like? What are you listening to? What are you rocking with? Because maybe everybody else isn't necessarily going back to this album. These albums come out in such a rapid pace. It's hard to pay attention to all these albums. And I happen to rap too, so it's hard. It's very hard. You know what I mean, to pay attention to other people's stuff. But when I come across it and I genuinely like it, I want to share it, just like the fan I grew up being. You know what I mean? No hate. I don't care where anybody. If you're on my level, you surpass me. Whatever. More power to you, brother. Go live your life. Enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Have a good time. Make dope music. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what, I wanted to bring us together for, and kind of do it more often on a monthly basis to see who's dropping stuff, because things can kind of get lost in the shuffle. So we're looking forward to doing this type of thing once a month. Ty, you're more than welcome to come back, speak to whatever artist you want to speak to, or whatever music you're enjoying, some trending topics and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
I got a lot to say,
we'll
and I be in
definitely
these
do
rooms.
that.
So it's like y'all might as well include me. I be outside. I get invited to these things. I'm there on the scene, beats to the streets. But also, I was gonna say this is technically my first time meeting Ruben. Like, we've communicated remotely and we tried to catch up with each other. So it's nice to see you face to face. And shout out to you for all that you're doing, because somebody has to do these things. And I know there's people that look to me for that too. Like, if I believe in you, I'm gonna be a walking billboard for you. Whether you're an artist or a brand, whatever, I'm gonna speak about it, tweet about it. You're gonna hear about it. So I think, again, it's up to us. We're fans. We're the consumers. Some of us were the journalists. We're the media. We're the A&Rs. We're the manager. We're the producer. Whatever. But it's like, I'm gonna speak on what I believe in, and yeah, like, I'm not a hater. I'm not a gatekeeper. And I know some people are beefing and stuff. I don't care. I'm about to tweet about both of y'all. I'm listening to all of y'all. I don't care.
Right.
I don't
Same.
care. So again, thank you for letting me join the conversation. And y'all just got to let me know way in advance, because
Oh, absolutely. Next time we on it, we typically
crazy.
same. It's been crazy. I had to take 2 weeks off. Got kindergartners graduating, high school. There's so much stuff going on the last 2 weeks. So man, I got a wide spectrum of a village out here. So I'm been super busy. So I was just trying to get this together. I'm like, yo, Ruben, do you have a woman that can speak to hip hop and enjoys it? Like, you know what I mean? So
some people just count us out. We are the best supporters. The women fans.
Oh, that's
we
a
spend
fact.
money.
That's a fact.
We're gonna break bread.
That's a fact.
We showing up for y'all, so y'all might want to listen to us or cater to your fans or hear them out. I don't know. That's all I'm saying. But I may have some other young women that are qualified too to join future conversations as well. So y'all let me know what y'all need from me. I'll have my people call y'all people.
We'll
I'm just honored to be in this conversation. And it's also bigger than the West Coast too. So it's like, yeah, we can connect with other regions and people and voices and just congregate. It's not all about LA. And it's bigger than us.
So. No, y'all gave us a lot of Cali in general, of in terms of people that I hadn't heard about, and I'm cool. Just I don't care if you spam my inbox with all these people. I'll go check them out. Over the course of some time. But I think that's important. I like to put people on and be put on as well to dope artists. You never know what that leads to. Whether I have them on here or we work together musically. It's all about us organically connecting with who we connect with. You know what I mean? Or just giving them a platform. So with that said, unless do y'all have anything else as far as y'all looking forward to? Because we can wrap this up and kind of I know y'all got some stuff to do for the rest of y'all day.
Well, I actually am looking forward to it. I kind of already heard the project. DJ Quick and Problems Chupacabra album is coming.
Oh, okay.
I think it's supposed to come next month or in July. They just did a crazy pop-up at Exhibits Dispensary in Bel Air, and they had Jay Worthy, G Perico, all type of people were there, and it's just dope to see again the generational link up happen. And there's some like house type alternative tracks on the project too. It's not just Compton. It doesn't sound like typical Compton or typical Problem or typical Jay Worthy, because the project's A&R'd by Jay Worthy. So there's a little bit of like house blends, and like they got Channel Prez on there. They got some Thundercat on there. They got some vibey, like other side of the, track vibes. And then they got the ones we know. And speaking of Big Hit is on the album too. So it's a little bit, I feel like, balance of what we need and what we really need. Like, show us kind of like what they don't just do Compton sounding music. So I definitely am looking forward to that. And there's a lot of features too. So there's some other younger voices and some females, and it's just it's a blend. It's a loaded up project. And I think they have like a forward with George Clinton. So just to get his
they going all out.
is amazing.
My.
So
quick
I think I'm
Problem on
looking
the
forward to
board, and Problem's a dope engineer. If y'all didn't know that, outside of what he does on the mic,
it's
like
a lot.
it's oh
They
my
got
god, they got a lot
going
of
on.
musicianship. I think Terrace Martin was shouting them
Exactly.
out recently on a audio nerds podcast. I'm not sure if y'all watched that, but I'm like nerdy about that type of stuff. But he was giving Problem his flowers in terms of like how dope he think he is as an artist. A mix engineer is an artist too, in my opinion. And that's just me learning how to do it and noticing that. So I'm definitely looking forward to Quick. And then I think way back when, I want to recall earlier in the episode, you mentioned the new DPG project or whatever. Like that was sounding really good as I kind of got into it when it dropped on Friday. I haven't finished it, but Lady, I think was it Lady of Rage, that the
Lady
song
of
that
Rage,
they premiered where just
DJ
Corrupt was standing
Premier.
in a studio, and I was like, oh, she's going DF off. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely going to tap into that project as a whole. And you know what I mean? So I definitely got
Not
love
trying
for the
to
West Coast.
overtalk you guys. But yes, I was invited to the listening session a few weeks back. I'm honored that I was welcomed into that room with these legends and I got to just be in the room and witness this and soak it up. But also, I'm a product of these albums, these projects, these people. I'm the next generation. So I feel like it should be that way. But like you said, Lady of Rage killed that track, but also DJ Premier. Like, this is what we want. They gave us the West Coast tracks and Battle Cat. Then they gave us DJ Premier too. And I feel like that's kind of what I grew up on. Like, I used to hear West Coast artists do West Coast stuff, then they'll get on a Jay Dilla song. They'll get on somebody else's type and kill it and still rap, or it's still hip hop. So I appreciate the maturity that Dog Pound showed. They're 50 plus years old. Some of these men are grandparents, So the music is reflective of what they're
going through now.
And time of life. And I appreciate that as someone that grew up on their album. And I'm not, again, trying to be biased, but yeah, like, I'm happy they did that, and I look forward to whatever else Dog Pound does, Death Row does. They got October London. He's a soul artist.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
He's incredible.
Jane Hancock. They got Nefertiti, so it ain't just gangster rappers coming out of Death Row. They got some soul artists too, and some real R&B coming as well. And I think it's a lot more coming. So again, if you haven't heard the album, I would encourage it. But also, I've seen some people kind of like that's around their age try to bash it, and it's just like, why are you doing that? Don't bash our forefathers. But also, you guys are expecting certain things where that's not where that artist is in their life. They're somewhere else in their life. So
right, precisely.
Be glad they came back together and gave us this album. Like, y'all want them to be talking crazy. They grandfathers. They are older gentlemen now. They are. Snoop be with Martha Stewart and stuff. Like,
For sure. To end it with my people, and Ruben, I'll let you end it off with anybody else you want to say. Of course, the Common and Pete Rock, I think that single was dope. They set the tone with what we probably could expect. If I get a full album of that, I'm good. Like, you don't have to give me, you don't have to switch it up. You don't have to do nothing. Just give me a full album of that. I'm cool. And then, the Nas and DJ Premier, if Nas still got more in the tank, which I seem to think he does, you know what I mean? So I think that's coming. I'm not sure. And last but not least, I already spent time on it. But like I said, the most important album of his life, based off what he's coming off of, the biggest battle, J. Cole with The Fall Off. So those are 3 albums that maybe are coming out this year that I'm definitely interested in, that all in my wheelhouse. You know what I mean? So, but I'll let you finish it off, Ruben, man, before we get out of here.
I actually got a rumored, or not. I got a source who let me know the date that Pete Rock and Common album's dropping, July 12th. So the source is pretty good, but it hasn't been confirmed. Which, I mean, it makes sense because they turned in the album in like February. They just dropped the single maybe 2 weeks ago, right? So they'll probably drop another one in June, and then bam, July 12th, second week of July, full album. So that's what I've heard on that. But that was on one of my most anticipated. So was the Quick. Jason Martin. So my other ones. Go.
No, I'm like, I forgot he was by Jason Martin. Sorry, Jason Martin. Sorry.
I'm just like, man, I'll call you what the DSPs call you, man. I don't want no smoke with anyone changing their names or adding hyphens or anything. So my most anticipated, other than the ones you all have mentioned, Saba and No ID. So they've dropped about 2 or 3 singles. I mean, shit, the bar was up here for them, like really high. They've exceeded that bar for me. So again, generational, blending and still just making
Love it.
amazing music. And then one I found out about maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago is um, Evidence and Blue. They have a full project together.
Okay.
I don't know if that's Evidence rapping, Blue producing, vice versa, or a mix of the two. I mean, I would personally love a mix of the two because I think they're two of the best, rapper producers, the last 20 plus years. But I mean, either way, if it's Blue producing, Evidence rapping, I'm listening. And then the last one, I don't even know how confirmed this is. I might have made this up, but I'm a TDE compilation. So I feel like
Oh yeah.
their exec, who's real active on Twitter, is that Punch? Is he the one that's real active
Punch, Musa,
on
and
Twitter?
Punch and
I think you'll see a lot of
Musa.
Musa.
No, not Musa. It's another one. But yes, I've seen
Okay.
that on Twitter. The compilation rumors.
Yeah, yeah. So for me, the only like look, and I'm gonna make a bold prediction, and it's not just because
Oh,
Ty's here. There's gonna be a shift this year. Like the West Coast, like it's a shift, and I mean, the Kendrick records are gonna be a footnote, but I think musically, there's gonna be a shift. Like
All right.
like New York,
we back
Atlanta has ignored, has ignored LA, the Bay, for so long that I think now, to Ty's point, just getting outside, hugging your peers, hugging your fans, that's gonna win. Like that's gonna prevail. So that's my bold prediction for 2024. Like the West, like no more being duplicated. I think they're gonna finally get 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 that respect again. I think people are tired of the charts and all that shit. And then, I mean, thank goodness the majors are like not investing in the West Coast anymore because they made it happen anyways. So I think that's gonna you know, yeah. I mean, I just think there's been a crazy run, and we're only halfway through. I mean, Schoolboy's album. I mean, Sir, he's not hip hop, but he's hip hop adjacent.
Yeah, that's a dope
TDE, that
album
was an
too.
amazing album. Um, uh, you know, La Russell's dropping every couple of days. It feels like,
I can't
but I
keep
mean, it's
up,
all
man.
good music.
He about to
You know
drop
what I mean?
right now.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, we
probably,
might have
man. But he
dropped,
probably just
a
pressed button
single as
on
we're
the
on this
on
pod.
TuneCore
I
or
mean,
whoever he uses as his
yeah,
DSP for sure.
yeah, and it's just, yeah, it's just crazy to see. I mean, the veterans are still active. I mean, yeah, Dog
Mhm.
Pound's album, but Spice One and he dropped a really good, better than I expected album. It was really good, and yeah, I mean, I just think there's going to be some shifts where people aren't going to care about what's going on anywhere else.
I don't know if we
I mean,
have time to share one thing after.
You got time. You got time. Yeah,
We're
you got
back.
it.
I feel like we're back to our roots. Like I just the other day went to school, Hit Boy and Alchemist and Big Hit screening for the black and white. I received a DVD. Like we're back to our roots. Let's get
Wait,
back to
what?
what
The
we
hard copy, the DVD of
we
the
they gave
screening.
us DVDs because there's a documentary. Like you said, the story should be told, and Hit Boy is they killing it. So they had a screening for the documentary, and they gave us DVDs. It's like the throwback old school like rap beef
Yeah,
type DVD. Like
yeah.
let's get back to our roots. We back at our roots. Give us
Mhm.
concepts. Give me a visual. Give me a rollout. Stop. Okay, I almost
Give
cussed.
some
Stop playing
physicals.
with me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
This
Give
how I
me some
talk to artists,
physicals.
y'all.
Right.
This the real me, y'all. Sorry. This the real
No,
me.
no.
This
I
how I
love it.
talk
I
to
love it. I love the
when I catch
enthusiasm.
these artists in the streets, this how I talk to them. Like, what's up?
Right. Drop the
Drop
music. Act like you give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
why
give
you?
it to us.
Yeah, I can't stand. I mean, and everybody goes through their things, So this is overtime. If you're still listening, about tap in. But like my thing is like I can't stand for it. Like some of the doper lyricists, some of them I've had on this podcast, they may be going through personal things, and I get it. But like, damn it, man, like care a little bit more, like, because some of these guys could be through the roof, man, if they just, let go of the ego and the pride and just try some shit to get out of that bubble, that they probably
or
are
just be
currently in.
creative.
Yeah.
Like some people are like
Ask for
doing
help.
what they see.
Yeah, ask for help. You can't do it all yourself. You may want to be one of these people where I got it out of the mud, I did it by myself, but that truly isn't the case in most people's thing. People do help out in some way, shape, or form. So, get out your little silo, man, and ask for help, man. You know what I mean? It never hurts to ask for help, man. And
And
exactly,
not even that, but
yeah.
I was just
I
gonna
had
say,
one.
listen to the
Okay.
fans.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, just listen to what people are saying, man. You got to be aware of what people are saying. Is not everybody's critique is not coming from a negative space. Sometimes it's, we want you to win. We want you to collab more with some R&B artists. We care about what you're doing. You know what I mean? So if we're taking the time to listen and we're not being spicy about it or malicious about the feedback, then take what you want to take. Go back to the lab, come back, work on your jump shot, come back out and hit a few trays. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Do what you do, man. But I wanted to say, appreciate you guys coming on at such short notice. It's typically not what I do, but I did want to get this episode out before June just escapes from me, because I got a super, super busy June, and these episodes are important to me just to put people on to stuff like that. So I appreciate you, Ty. I would love to have you back, Ruben. You're always welcome back, man. We were talking about doing something in the future in terms of a monthly thing. So, and I'll support whatever you guys need from me. Yeah, I'll support whatever you guys have as well. You know what I mean? So if it's something that you want me to lend my voice to as far as podcast wise, or speak on something, or as artists that you want to say, hey man, you want to interview him, by all means, send them my way. If they're dope, it's gonna happen. So, but that's all I wanted to end off with.
I've definitely got some people for you and Ruben, so I'll be bothering y'all. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Ty.
My little screen just cut off so I could look at y'all.
Now y'all stuck with me forever.